Whenever you're ready, we'd like to give them as a gift too.
It's okay to cry.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's okay to cry.
Let it go.
We got money on
You know,
you
I've
crying.
given a lot of speeches. I go out to the schools. The only time I ever get really busted up is when I talk about my family. I have two families. The one that raised me and the one I raised. And it's funny, as I thought about what I wanted to say, my family is in both of those categories, my Army family. As a young soldier, it was the Sergeant Magyars and the First Sergeant Millers that pulled me along in the infantry and made me better. Just like my mother and father. They did the best they could with what they had. I'd like to think they did pretty good. They brought me up, I made NCO, and then I really started to learn in the Army when I had soldiers underneath me. And I still had mentors bringing me up and making me stronger. And at some point, you don't realize when it happens, but you become a senior NCO. You realize that more guys come to you looking for advice than you're searching for advice. And you become that guide, the guy in the shadows. I was never the first sergeant. I strived to be that. It just didn't happen. It wasn't necessarily a failure, but I stride. I wanted to keep striding, but there comes a point in time where you decide, I need to focus more on my family. My body, God knows my body's taken enough. And I don't think I could go forward if I really, truly tried. So at the expense of not completely killing myself, I decided it was time to retire. And we love Arkansas. You know, I'm from Philadelphia originally, if you don't know that. And I love it here. The Army family raised me, and as I became a senior NCO, the greatest joy that I had, the most satisfaction that I had, was when I took the young NCO and guided them through whatever life was throwing at them. It wasn't learning how to get over the PT test. It was the loss of a child or a spouse, teaching them how to write checks, balancing their checkbook, teaching them how to be men and women, understanding what it meant to be loved. When you guys come to me as my soldiers, the first thing I told you is no one's going to care about you more than I will. I'm an asshole, but no one's going to care about you more than I will. As I stand here today, I can tell you I'll wait. I need a minute anyway.
Okay.
He's doing it for you.
No one's going to care about you more than I will. And no one ever is going to care about you more than I will. As I tried to figure out what I wanted to say today, even if I could talk, I kept getting busted up thinking about you guys. It's not just you, but I've had 20 years of soldiers. Some of them who aren't here anymore. I think about them every day, and I see them in you guys. You guys are the future. When you become a senior leader, at some point you realize it's about making you better than what I was. And I want you to take all the good, if you can find any, learn from my bad, and keep going and make the Army great. That's what's important. I did the best I could with what I had, and I tried to give you everything that I had. If there's one lesson, though, that I want you to take from your soldiers, is care for them more than anything else, and you'll never fail them. That doesn't always mean giving them what they want. You have to be hard, you have to be disciplined. There's a chain of command, and you won't always understand the reason. But I can tell you, 12 years in USAREC, as you get older, as you progress, and I bet you Sergeant Major in the first one will tell you, once you get to the next level, now even Sergeant Denton, you get to the next level and you go, I understand now. Okay, so support Sergeant Denton, support First Sergeant Alvey, support the Sergeant Major. because the hardest job in the Army is recruiting the youth. It is the hardest job in the Army. I kicked in doors, I blew stuff up, I became an MP, and then when they told me I would never walk again, I had to beg to stay in the Army, and they made me recruiter, and I was like, you know what, that's gonna be easy. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done, to include learning to walk again. To the future soldiers and the kids that are out there on the line, I still care. When I talked to them and their parents, and I told them, I don't care about anybody else in the Army, I care about your son or daughter. I think about them all the time. And if you put that into your interview, and if you genuinely care about the kids you put in the Army, you'll never feel bad about this job. I know it's hard. I know on a day-to-day basis you feel like you're getting your head banged against a wall. But you will be better NCOs for it, I promise. You will be better. You'll go back to the lines. You'll understand how to talk to your soldiers when they have issues like losing family members. Okay, or their marriage is breaking up, or they don't know how to balance a checkbook or start a budget, right? They don't know how to plan for their future and save. What have you guys been doing for 3 years? Teaching people how to do that, right? Helping them make a plan. I was 19 when I enlisted. I was a kid. You know, I'll be 39 in August. I'm starting a new chapter. I hope to go inspire another generation of young people to be just a little bit better tomorrow than they were today. This part's for you. When I was 15 years old, I was told I was too dumb and too poor to go to college and too weak and too little to be in the service. In October, I'll graduate with my MBA. I'm very proud of that. You know, and it took me believing in myself and not believing what the world told me about me. When the world told me I'd never walk again, the doctors at Walter Reed said, you're never gonna walk again, here's your cane, see you out of the Army. I had to beg the Secretary of the Army, the Honorable Guerin, to stay in the Army. I got to ask him a question, and he made it happen. That's the only reason I'm standing still here today. The only reason I got to retire. And I've tried very hard to honor what they were able to give me. Captain Moore, First Sergeant Miller, Sergeant Butts. I've had a lot of great leaders, and I hope I made them proud. But moreover, I hope I've made you proud. And you guys. No one sacrificed as much as you. No one stood by me like you did. And I know how hard that is, and I hope to make it up to you. I'm trying real hard. 2 weeks ago, my son came to me and he says, Dad, I think I want to fly helicopters. I want to look at West Point. I want to be WAFT. Maybe I just want to be a crew chief and just go in. All he sees is Dad now. So what did I do? I went to my trusty recruiters, my brothers, my family, because that's how I think of you. I miss you already. I was mad in October, September when Sergeant Denton took over, if I'm being honest. I'm not ready to leave and say goodbye. I'm ready to retire. I love the Army. I love you guys more. And I love you guys most of all.